The dreaded moment has come. Your boss walks into your office and says, hey, next Tuesday I need you to speak to the whole group and explain the things that you do and help them move on and do those things better. It'll be Tuesday and you got 5 to 7 minutes to speak. Talk to you later. Bye. And then they walk out of your office. And you're suddenly clenched with, oh my gosh, what do I do? What do I do now? If you were a Toastmaster, you'd have already practiced this kind of thing and that would be something that you could just do. But since maybe you aren't and you're looking for some help right now on how to do that, I'm going to give you a quick how to prepare and present your speech that you can use to get over that hump until a time when you can come and join us and learn more and practice more in your speaking. The first thing you're going to kind of need is a general outline of how the speech should go. For a general outline, I'm going to tell you need to have a power opening, some points, and a conclusion. So let's go through those particular things and talk about what each of them means. The power opening. Don't do this. Don't start with a joke. Don't start with, thank you for letting me have this opportunity. People expect those things. They're boring. Do something else. Instead, start with an emotional grabber about the thing that you are speaking on, the problem you are solving for your audience. So for instance, let's say that your audience doesn't know how to speak and you're going to give them an introduction to speaking. Sound familiar? Right. So you start with that story. The story I just started this with is a perfect example of this. You start with a story about the problem you're going to solve, which is, hey, you've got to give a speech and probably you don't know how. I'm going to help you out with that. So start with that power opening. Make it the first thing you say. Because if you think about it, you're sitting there in an audience and the speaker gets up and they start telling a joke and they start going on about how honored they are and your phone comes out and you're like, and you've already lost them. The point is, get up there, pause for a second, and then go straight into your material. People don't have time to start looking somewhere else and then happen to catch you later when you actually get to your point. Now, speaking of points, after you've given this opening, you need to go on through the solution or solutions to the problem. Now, there's two ways to organize your points. One is I have multiple steps in the same thing. So each point is a step in the solution. The other option is for each point to be a different kind of solution to the same thing. Once you have written out kind of the outline of what you think you need to do to teach that, when you have those points, what you need to do next is for each point, you need a story or example and then an explanation. And actually, it doesn't have to be and then. You could go explanation, example, to kind of say, this is what you do, and here's an example of how you do it. Or you can start with a story, say, here's a story, and here's what we did there. You can also kind of bookend that. So you can say, here's a little bit of an explanation, here's your story, and here is more of that explanation. That's what each point ends up being. So for example, in my case, in this speech, this is becoming very self-referential, but in this speech, I'm giving you this outline. So my points are your opening, your points, and your conclusion. I'm giving you an example from the same speech and an explanation of why each of those things is there. Finally, after you've given them your point, after you've showed them how to solve their problem, then you have to have your conclusion. Now, one key point of the conclusion is it has to reference back to your opening. So you told them in your opening, here's the problem, and here's how we can solve it. And then you told them how you're going to solve it, and now you have to refer back and let them know that you did tell them how to solve that particular thing. And there's a lot of talk, there's a cliche that you tell them what you're going to tell them, you tell them what you tell them, and then you tell them what you told them. And that's a cliche because people do it a lot. But it's also kind of true. You need to, in your conclusion, go back and connect to the beginning and show them how you solved that problem. So the next time that your boss comes in and gives you a speech and you have no idea what to do, you can use this outline that I just gave you. You can know how to do an opening, a powerful opening. You can know how to do points in that, and you can have a conclusion. And hopefully you won't be just grabbed with that fear when your boss tells you to do this. And if you are, come visit us at Toastmasters and we'll help you get over that fear.